Good evening guys, Novinator here with another video leading up to the release of the 325 pathofexile league setters of the KALGUUR, and in this one I just wanted to quickly go over a few different atlas trees that I'm considering potentially to use at some point of my progression. So I will go over each of the three trees and answer a few questions in regards to it. First, what goals am I pursuing with a tree? What am I trying to get? How long do I expect to have to use it before transitioning into the next one? And then it may not be precise, specific time constraint I'll go over, but more so what requirements do I think that the tree satisfies before I move on to the next tree. So my first one, no, that's my last one. I'm showing you the wrong one. So my initial tree, which I showcased in my previous video, which is pretty much something very similar to what I would start mostly, with some changes here or there. But what I'll be focusing while I'm progressing my atlas, this is pretty much going to be the tree that you complete your atlas, try to get to like level 95 and just gather some resources and initial gear. So we will be focusing on getting more chance to get June in our maps, which would give us more encounters with the different branches of the those different branches of the league mechanics. So you've got like 4 different departments of this organization, then you're fighting its different members. So each of them give you items with an unveil. Sometimes the items could be quite good, which is really good early on for gearing, because you may get a potentially good item that gets, if you are lucky, a really good unveil as well. So that may become your best of slot. So it's really good, an easy way to gear up early on without faffing about it, having to craft the gear. So we're also gonna get points into here. So Immortal Syndicate members in your maps are 200 more likely to offer to bargain for items, so you're getting more items to unveil, so more chance to get good items. Immortal Syndicate members in your maps drop 200 more % items when bargain for items, so again, just more items. Immortal Syndicate members in your maps are 100% more likely to be accompanied by their leader, so again, more people would participate in those encounters. So you have to fight more guys, and then you've got more people, more of them dropping items. So you're getting more out of each encounter in terms of items that you're getting, and the small nodes just give you more chance. We're gonna spec into June pretty heavily, and we're gonna get more chance for June to be present, and this one we don't care. Syndicate members obtain an additional equipment item when appearing in your maps. Now I will be playing in hardcore, so the items do make the encounters harder, so I don't think that the increased rarity of items is where there is to get killed, especially when you're not actually well geared, etc. So we'll leave this one out, but you get this, so more chance for June to be in your maps, and then completing your maps grants 10% intelligence for a random Immortal Syndicate safe house. Now what happens when each of the safe houses reaches 100% intelligence is that you'd have an encounter to run, which gives you quite a lot of experience and potentially some good rewards. Now, if you are interested to see what are the different rewards given by Betrayal, there are plenty of plenty of cheat sheets that you can look up, and it gives you all the different permutations of the different people, what rewards they give you when they're in each of the different safe houses. So a lot of different rewards. So I think it's a well-rounded package of different rewards that you'll be getting out of the mechanic: items, scarabs, divination cards, some uniques. There's a lot of stuff, so I'm not going to go over it. But it's quite a nice way to get just the bulk of potentially useful stuff for later on, which is, you know, when you're playing SSF, especially hardcore, because you need to reroll, getting just random stuff and some currency is always useful. And at the same time, you're getting the unveiled items, which may, you know, first help you to get the crafts for later on when you're crafting your end game gear, but also give you some potentially really good items that could give you potentially your best in slot until you actually start crafting the big boy items, which would mean that if you get your best in slot for one piece, then you don't really need to pick up anything else that's dropping on the ground for that particular piece, which makes you, you know, run through content as well. The other mechanics that I will be doing is obviously essence. I'm just getting all the essence stuff. So we've got essence here, we've got essence here, here and here. So I'm getting all the essence stuff now. This time around on the Atlas, they did a really cool SSF change. So the essence option on the map device costs twice as much, so 6 chaos instead of 30 chaos, but you're getting double the amount of essences per map. Now, it may seem like the same thing. You're getting twice the amount of essences for twice the currency. However, in terms of efficiency, that means that per map, you will be getting more essences. And again, you need a chaos sink, so this early on, I don't think you need your chaos for a lot else. So if you want to, you know, get more essences to store away for later on crafting, I think that's a good way to do it. We also will be getting the some of the Abyss stuff. So what we are basically, the main reason I'm getting Abyss, there is a couple of main reasons. Now, I will be playing minion build, so a lot of good stuff in terms of items that you can get from Abyss. First of all, the minion jewels, then the darkness and troll, which is our best in slot for our belt slots. And yeah, and also it's a good mechanic that spawns a lot of monsters in your map, so that's good for XPing. You'd see that this should be a good theme throughout all the mechanics. We want to get mechanics that let us go through the maps pretty quickly and give us extra experience. Although not as much as you'd see that in the next trees, but we'll get back to that. So the areas that I'm interested in Abyss would be the chance to get, you know, the flat chance Abyss, and then you get +2 chance for maps to contain an Abyss per 2% increased pack size. So you get your chance, you get the other stuff would be here. We'll get more chance to contain maps will have more chance to contain an Abyss. So we get quite a lot of chance just naturally at each map without any scarabs or anything like that. We have quite a huge chance to spawn on Abyss. Abysses in your maps have 10% increased chance to lead to an abyssal depth. That's quite important because the unique only drops from a boss, which only spawns if the abyss spawns abyssal depth. So 10% here, and then abyss in your maps have 100% increased chance to lead to an abyssal depth. This abyss in your maps have 5% increased. I mean, we can get this as well. Now this one gives us Stygian spars in your maps drop items with +1 to item level. We don't really care about that because we're not really gearing through the items dropped from Stygian spires. maybe at some point if you want to get like higher level of duos, that could be useful. But and again, you see on this tree that I've actually left it at like 113, so you don't need to have completed your whole atlas for the tree to be functional. And again, you've got like 20 points to play about, so you can get this stuff for sure. I just don't think it's necessary. And there's more stuff from a base if you want to like maximize the aspect where you get more monsters and you get more experience. You can certainly do that. You can either go for this one, so this gives you base monsters your maps, current 50% increase experience, which is really good as well. For leveling, Abyss your map spawn 50% increase monsters. This one, Abyssal Trolls, Insidious Spars in your maps, 20% chance to drop a rare item with an Abyssal Socket. I don't think that that's worth it, to be honest, unless you're like farming for a specific build, but we wouldn't be doing that at this point of the progression. And this is just, yeah, we don't care about that at all. Now, this part of the tree could be potentially really great because that gives us increased quantity of items found in your maps, which is one of the few ways that we can get quantity of items for ourselves, because all of that has been deleted from the gear. And there is, so anything that gives us more quantity these days has essentially been buffed. It's just more impactful because there is less sources of it. So we could potentially get the whole of that, because you remember we've got more points, and there is some more obvious stuff here if you want to take some of it. But and the last stuff I'm getting is this for more. So Abyssal Trolls and Stygian Spars in your maps have 30% increased chance to contain or drop on Abyss Jewel, and this gives Abyss Jewels found in Abyssal Troughs or dropped by Stygian Spars in your maps have 20% chance to be corrupted and have 5 or 6 random modifiers. I think it's just a nice bonus to have the chance to get jewels like that when you're doing the mechanic anyway. What else am I running anything else? Yeah, and I'm getting expeditions, so I'm getting, what am I getting? So I'm getting the chance, and this big wheel minus the extreme archaeology. This doesn't give you any flat chance, so you can take this if you're struggling with abysses, but other than that, it's not required. Am I missing anything else? I mean, yeah, I could get more stuff here. So yeah, we would definitely probably take this and take the expedition and the abyss stuff. And again, you could possibly fit like half of another mechanic because you'd have some left over, so you can decide what you want to do. But basically that's the tree that I'll be using until I get to quite a good, baseline of in-game wealth, some items, some divination cards, potentially some stuff that makes me think about rerolling, or just acquire some wealth that gives you some options either for your build that you're playing or for other future builds. And then at some point, because all of those mechanics, what you have to think about it, they give you, some more experience and stuff, but they give you rewards that at some point lose their punch, I would say. For example, with essences, it will take you a lot of essences to craft your gear, but at some point you have got, and especially in SSF when you're definitely not 100% maxing things, you'd be happy with, I'll probably be happy with something that's 60 or 70% as good as, even less probably, if I can get my survivability and damage to somewhere that I'm comfortable at. So at some point you need no longer essences, so at this point you can unspec a essence, and you have to think about each mechanic that you're doing. Is there anything that you can get out of it if you continue doing it? Let's say Betrayal. Betrayal also gives you access to one of the bosses, Katarina. She drops quite a good, a couple of good helmets, and I could potentially use both of them. So I'll be running Katarina, and obviously we'll be running Betrayal to get more tries at Katarina until I get those items. And there is a lot of other stuff. I mean, I can get like failed orbs, but let's say at some point you've got enough of it. Same with Expedition. You can get a lot of different currency, a lot of stackable items from 2gen, a lot of item crafting options from Rock and from the other guy. Like you can get bases and whatnot. But at some point, you'd have crafted your gear for that character. You'd have gotten a level of WoW that just makes things comfortable for you. Because we are, I think, at the point in Path of Exile where even if you are, well, definitely wouldn't say casual, but even if you're not super, try-harding and playing 20 hours a day, if you at least spend some time to research the game, to improve your efficiency a little bit, and even if you play like a couple of hours a day, over the course of a full league, I can think you can pretty much do any content you want. So back to what I'm saying is, before I forget, I just forgot to mention that we are pathing through here. That's not a specific mechanic. We don't really care about scouting reports, like the different reports that are dropping in the maps, but we care about this note here. Your maps have 6% chance to grant an additional Kirk mission on completion. Now, in my opinion, in SSF, Kirk missions never lose value, because the red missions, give you chance to do one of the like Guardian type of maps, which is the level of boss before you actually do the main bosses. And you can also, I believe you can buy it from him, all at a really high price. And every time that you run a mission, Kirak's shop resets, so I think that's worth it. But yeah, each of the mechanics in this tree at some point will become obsolete. You have gotten your gear. You'd have found, if you were looking for some specific unique, maybe you'd have found it through Betrayal or just through running maps. You'd have gotten your Enthroned Darkness, your jewels and whatnot. So at this point, whenever this is, and that may be different for somebody, it may be day 2, day 3. For somebody, it may be, the end of month 1. But anyway, the logic is exactly the same. This tree has served its purpose, and then I like to go to this one. It's not something that I've tried in the past, and to be honest, I've never gotten past the point where you craft your initial endgame gear, and then in softcore I'll just get bored with the game, because you get to a point where the lack of physical skill, if you're not good at the game, if you die a lot, you just can't progress any further, and that really made it boring, not specifically rewarding for me. So I'll essentially always drop off at some point, just before the game gets really rewarding and gives you the chance to do those different builds. So I'm hoping that playing in hardcore gives you that first of all, adrenaline rush every time that you are going through a tight situation. You are clenching hard, so that's definitely a rewarding experience getting through the game, through any content, even through the campaign. It's quite cool for a new convert to hardcore. I've been playing that for the last few weeks, and it's just been such fun. I've never felt so excited about the game. But yeah, I'm hoping that we will transition from our initial tree. And what I was thinking is that at this point we have amassed quite a lot of over tier 14 maps. So what I want to do is, all I want to do is run maps quick, have to deal with as few mechanics that stop me or make me, not run through the map, and just add on as many synergistic side pieces of content as possible that gives us more experience, potentially some good rewards. And also remember, we might have completed the Atlas, but we still have got to get void stones and stuff like that. And to get the void stones, we need to get, I'll just quickly bring up the explanation for any new players that are not familiar how exactly you get your void stone. So you get one for defeating the Searing Exarch, defeating the Eater of Worlds. Now those two, you get an invitation for each by running 60 maps, I believe. The Maven, same story, you need to run, I believe it's 10 maps, 10 maps between tier 14 and tier 16 that are witnessed by the Maven. At the 10th map, you get an invite to the boss arena. And the Uber Elder is the only slightly different, but essentially the same. You need to run a lot of, you need to run some bob masses, so some boss maps. So for the Uber Elder, you need to get fragments from the Elder and the Shaper, and to get, they're like the mini bosses that lead to the next encounter. So to get them, you need to defeat their guardians, which are special maps that don't drop naturally. However, there is a note on here. So you see those clusters at the top. These are all clusters that make it so that the final boss of a normal map will have a chance to drop one of those special boss maps. So for example, this one, no, this is the Scarab one. So this one, map boss have 100% increased chance to drop a Conqueror map. This one, final map boss in each map has plus 3% chance to drop an Elder Guardian map or a Shaper Guardian map. And this one gives us 2% chance for a Synthesis map to drop when you're defeating a final map boss in each tier 14 plus map. And in here we are getting some, I'm not sure if I'll be getting this in card code though, because essentially what this does is defeating a map boss while witness. Oh no, that's fine. Yeah, I'm definitely getting that. This was the one I wasn't sure if I should get in hardcore. Basically, the Maven summons extra bosses to each boss fight, which I don't think I'll be doing. But the small nodes leading up to that give you defeating a map boss while possessed. But while witnessed by the Maven has 10% chance to count as also witnessing an additional random map boss. So essentially you're getting like a free witnessing. So you have to do one less map, if I understand it correctly. The other stuff that you'll be doing now, the mechanics that I've got are, I've spec'd all into strong boxes. Essentially you get here strong boxes open in your maps have 10% chance to be openable again. Strong boxes in your maps are corrupted. You get one extra strong box per map. Strong box in your maps have 50% chance to be guarded by an additional pack of monster. More experience, and this is what, more experience to even more experience, because the boxes are more experience anyway. What else? Here you get chance for the box to be either divination or currency boxes. So we're just running maps, popping boxes that could be, corrupted. We could get some 16, we could get some potentially good stuff. We could get some cards, some currency. we get the whole increased quantity wheel here. We also get the shrine stuff. Again, the idea is just run through the map quickly, kill more monsters. We are getting some of the Ether of Worlds. Clusters, we don't care about this one because I'm gonna be playing in hardcore, so I think that's a little bit. I'll have to see if the character feels fine, but I'll probably not take it. It's not worth the risk. And I'll get this. I don't care about the. No, actually, I do care about. I don't have the points. Yeah, I'm at maxed out. And the other stuff that I'm getting is just a chance for scarabs. I think I had this in the previous one, not as much, but I'll get a few small notes. But these other next 2 trees, I'm trying to get a lot of it. Let me see. Yeah. So I'm getting all the. Most of the scarab clusters. I'm just not selecting what scarabs I'm getting, but potentially at some point when you learn which are the ones that you like to run, you'd select them on the map. Yeah, so that's it pretty much. Just boxes, shrines, altars, running maps to get more boss maps dropping from the boss of the map. So this at this point, with this tree, I think, especially if you start running scarabs that you probably would have already acquired from your previous tree. And remember, in your previous tree we had Syndicate. One of the safe houses, the rewards are primarily scarabs, so you should have, depending on how much you've played, you should have some quantity of scarabs. So I think with this setup, probably for sure you're gonna be able to hit. Actually, I don't know because I've never gone past 96. So I have no idea if you can get 100 on this setup with some scarabs and maybe some extra juicing. But I think you can run this for quite a while. Get some more scarabs. Keep getting map, invitations ready for later on. And yeah, and at this point, you should have got quite a lot of gear that potentially you can maybe even consider starting to boss. You should obviously consider: are you missing something from the POB that you're following, or if it's maybe a build that you have come up, are you missing any uniques or anything? It could be anything, and you can maybe consider getting another tree that focuses on mechanics that you get the reward that you need. And at this point, if you've completed your atlas, gotten your gear, at least initial gear, you should think, can I start running bosses, or do I need something else to finish crafting my gear? And then you should just focus on finishing your gear and then start bossing. And then obviously through bossing you get access to even more uniques, potentially quite build defining. And that could be because I'm the type of player that really likes to play for the full 3 months, even if it's not a great mechanic. I think it's especially when you're not in trade, you're just playing in SSF. That is quite rewarding, trying to slowly accumulate wealth that lets you to jump from move on, build from a certain build onto another one by getting more pieces of the puzzle of your next build. So yeah, that's the second tree that I potentially am considering running. And then I've got one. I've seen some content creators mention some of these mechanics in previous leagues, and I decided I might actually try how good it is. I've never magic found, or however you say it. I've never done any magic find strategies, so I thought it would be cool just to focus on getting as much scarab quantity for scarab that are dropped, to get the quantity here. And you focus on rogue exiles, you focus on torment. I thought I might do another mechanic, so I focused on most of harvest, and also I'm getting some chance for Einhar to spawn in my map. So I think that could be pretty cool. But again, this one doesn't have any purpose. I mean, it could be quite cool for getting items in SSF. But whether it should be enjoyable to me, I have no idea. I'll need to actually play it. I think when you're at this point of the progression, you just need to play about with what you think is it's fun to you, because there is so many different mechanics. Some may be fun to you, some may be interesting, some may be boring, some you may not really understand how to properly deal with. Some you may be really good at, and you may think that you're getting a lot of return in spite of the majority of the community thinking, oh, those are crap strategies, they don't give us good device per hour or whatever. But yeah, that's the cool thing about SSF. You should, at the end of the day, just play to have fun. Maybe set some goals for the league, what you want to do, and just try to piece together some the strategies that maybe help you get there. And then if they do, if the strategies do work out, yeah, great. If not, try better next league. So I think that's a lot of the fun for me, just trying new stuff. Does it work? Does it not? So yeah, these are the truths. And maybe okay. Let's just touch on it slightly. There was one bit that actually I wanted to mention. Oh yeah, this one. So my bosses have 10% chance to be surrounded by tormented spirits. 30% more quantity of items dropped by possessed monsters in your map. Remember that we mentioned that source of more quantity are now even more useful because there is less sources now. It is so the more quantity you get from possessed monsters now, potentially possessed, the boss will be possessed. So your maps have a 10% chance to be haunted by an additional torment. Same here. In here, you got rogue exiles in your maps are possessed by tormented spirits. Your maps have a 8% chance to contain 20 additional rogue exiles, all of them ghosted. Up to 5 rare monsters in each of your maps are possessed and their minions are touched. Did that affect touched? No, just possessed. But potentially this procs, that would be quite nice. Do we get any more rogue exiles? Wild rogue exiles in your maps have 50% chance to have additional rewards. No. Your maps have a 25% chance to contain an additional exile. So that's 75. So we've got potentially 20 here, 25, 26 if that drops, if that pop procs, and then 27 with the boss. And those should be, all of them would be unique monsters. So they should have got pretty good drops anyway. So I think that could be quite worthwhile just for getting to the maps quickly, getting just quantity, exiles, the tormented spirits, trying to drive them through more mobs. I know. I mean, you could probably focus the other stuff I've added on is harvest, but I don't know. It maybe not super synergistic. You can do probably the other stuff I'm thinking about. Maybe would be abyss. Could be doing, but again, I just need to test it out. But to be honest, that's not something that I know if I would even get to this point. We'll see how far. Where which direction we'll go after our previous tree, but that's definitely something that I may decide to play with at some point. If any of those trees interest, if you wanna test them out, I'll post them down. All the 3 links in the comment and description of the video below. So feel free to check them out, think about with them, maybe change it to your preferences, use them as a skeleton to another similar tree or whatever. But yeah, anyway, thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you in the next one, Exiles. Have a good one. Bye.